Sheikh Abdul Hamid, you're live now, inshallah. تفضل.
Thank you. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala khatamil anbiya'i wal mursaleen wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wattabi'ina wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsanin ila yawmiddin. Amma ba'd. Surely all praises belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for He is the creator, sustainer, and controller of the universe and all within. And we invoke His peace and blessings upon His noble messenger, His family, His companions, and all those who follow them in righteousness until the end of time. And may Allah the Exalted cause us all to be among them. Respected sisters and brothers in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I trust that everyone is doing well and staying safe, and may Allah the Exalted continue to protect us and take care of us. At this moment in time, I want to encourage all of you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Press the notification icon to receive our videos. And if you are watching on Facebook or Twitter, you can go ahead and share this video so that we can maximize the benefit, inshallah. So take a few moments and do that, please. Jazakumullahu khairan. So we continue today, brothers and sisters, talking about the issue of inheritance. Now, last week we talked about the fact that among all the inheritors, there are those who inherit by fard, a fixed share only, and then there are those who inherit by ta'asib. These are the two ways an inheritor can inherit, either by fard or ta'asib. Ta'asib basically is the opposite of fard here, which means there is no fixed share. So fard means a fixed or prescribed share, and ta'asib means whatever remains. There is no fixed share. Now, the possible combinations or possibilities we can get out of these two are four. As we mentioned, those who inherit by fard only, there is no ta'asib for them. Then there are those inheritors who have no fard at all. They always inherit if they inherit by ta'asib only. And then number three, we have those who sometimes inherit by fard and sometimes they inherit by ta'asib. And they can combine the two. Sometimes they combine the two, yes. And then number four, we have those who inherit sometimes by fard, sometimes by ta'asib, but they never ever combine the two. Today we will deal with the details of this, inshallah. So here we go, Bismillah. Those who inherit by fard only, and there is no ta'asib for them, period, are 7 inheritors. And they are the husband. He can only inherit by fard. Then there's the wife, right? If the husband dies, then the wife will inherit. She also inherits by fard. There is no remainder for her. Number 3, the mother of the deceased, that is, right? She always gets a share that is fixed. There is no remainder for her. That is, she never inherits by ta'asib. Number 4, the mother of the mother. This is the maternal grandmother, and going up the line by females only. So the maternal great-grandmother. So the mother of the mother of the mother, and then the mother of the mother of the mother of the mother. Of course, as I mentioned last week, on practical terms, it is probably very rare or not even possible to have a great-grandmother alive while the younger person dies, so that great-grandmother can inherit. But this is the theory, at least, right? The mother of the mother, and then the mother of the mother of the mother. So you go up the line, but it has to be a line of females only. There can be no males in between. For example, all right, here's some examples. The mother of the mother of the mother, right? M here stands for mother, of course. So the first big M is the great-grandmother. Then the M is the grandmother, and then the M, the third M, is the mother of the deceased, right? So remember, we're always relating everyone with the deceased. So the mother of the mother of the mother of the deceased, right? So that's a great-grandmother. And here you have, right, another grandmother added. So we're looking at the great-great-grandmother or great-great-great-grandmother, right? And then there are 5 of them and so on. You notice here these grandmothers are going up the line by a line of females only. There are no males here in the mixed, right? So this grandmother, the maternal grandmother, will always inherit fard only. Number 5 is the father of the mother. So the paternal grandmother, right? Your grandmother from your father's side, more or less. And going up the line by females only or by males only. With the maternal grandmother, it's going up the line by females only. With the paternal grandmother, it is going up the line by either females only or males only. And let me give you some examples of what I'm talking about. So for example, you might have the mother of the mother of the father, right? Remember, we're talking, the father here is the father of the deceased. So the mother of the father is the paternal grandmother, and then her mother is the great grandmother, and so on, right? And then we have mother of mother of mother of father, right? So we're going up the line here with a line of females only. Mother of mother of mother of mother, father, the line of females. After the father, there are no males going up the line. They're all females, right? So they're all grandmothers. In here is some examples of the paternal grandmother going up the line through a line of males only. So you have mother of father. Then you can have mother of father of father. Then you can have mother of father of father of father, right? And then mother of father of father of father of father. So you notice the grandmother is going up the line, but through a line of males only. Father, grandfather, great-grandfather, great-great-grandfather, then the great-great-great-grandmother, right? So this is what is meant by going up the line by a line of, or through a line of females only, or through a line of males only. Number 6, in terms of those who inherit by father only, they have no ta'asib to get, is the brother from the mother's side. The brother from the mother's side. And number 7, that is, and of course by mother's side we mean that the deceased and this brother, they share the same mother but different father, right? Remember that. And number 7 is the sister from the mother's side. And again, right, sisters from the mother's side is the one who shares the same mother as the deceased, but they have different father. So these are the 7 people, 7 inheritors who have a fixed share that they inherit by. There is no remainder or ta'asib for them. They just get their fixed share and that's it. They're over with. All right. Now, those who inherit by ta'asib only, no fard for them. Whatever remains, that's what they get. There are 12 of them. There are 12 inheritors who inherit by ta'asib only. They have no fixed shares. The first is the son. And then we have the son of the son going down the line, right? So the son of the son of the son of the son and so on. So the great grandson from the son side, the great great grandson, the great 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 grandson, and so on. Again, as I mentioned, it's highly unlikely that your great 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 grandson is alive while you now pass away, right? But that's the idea of going down the line, the son of the son. And remember, the children of the daughters do not inherit. It's the children of the son who will inherit. The daughter will inherit her parents, of course, whenever they pass away, but her children will not inherit. It's from the boy's side the grandchildren who will inherit. All right. So here we have an example of going down the line, right? Son of son of son of son of son. All right. So those are 2, right? Son and then grandson going down the line, if you like, from the son side. Then we have the blood brother. Blood brother, I mentioned before, is the brother who is related to the deceased by having the same parents as the deceased. So both mother and father are the same for both the deceased and this brother. Then we have number 4, the brother from the father's side. So this is the brother who is related to the deceased. They're brothers, but only from the father's side. They have different mothers. The brother or sister from the mother's side inherit only by father. There is no ta'asib for them. Number 5, son of the blood brother. So number 5 here is the son of number 3 above. Your blood brother, their children, right? Their son or his son. And number 6, the son of the brother from the father's side. So number 6 is basically the son of number 4 above. Number 7 is the paternal uncle. So your uncle from your father's side, not your mother's side, your father's brother, right? Your father's side, who have the same parents as the father of the deceased. So we can call this the paternal blood uncle, if you like. Right. Then we have the paternal uncle who has the same father as the father of the deceased. It's the uncle and the father of the deceased who have the same father, because the uncle is the uncle of the deceased. But this uncle and the father of the deceased are brothers through the fact that they have the same father. They have different mothers. So paternal uncle who has the same father as the father of the deceased. And then we have their sons, right? So number 9 is the son of number 7, the son of the paternal uncle who has the same parents as the father of the deceased. And number 10 is the son of the paternal uncle who has the same father only as the father of the deceased. Okay. Then we have number 11, the mu'tiq. That is the male person, the liberator who sets a slave free. And number 12, we have the mu'tiqa. Mu'tiqa is the female of mu'tiq, which is the female person who sets a slave free, right? The female liberator per se. These are the 12 inheritors who inherit by ta'asib only. They have no fixed share, period. Yes, the son does not have a fixed share. He gets whatever remains. That's it. And he always gets. That's the beauty. Now, it's interesting, brothers and sisters. If you look at the inheritors who inherit by ta'asib only, and you look at the male inheritors, if you go back to the beginning, when we talked about the male inheritors, you will notice that the list is pretty much the same, with a few exceptions. There are actually 4 exceptions. Now, in the list of male inheritors, there are 15 people. In the list of those who inherit by ta'asib only, there are 12. So there's a difference of 3 right there. Now, who are these people? The exceptions from the list of male inheritors, we have taken out the husband. He does not inherit by ta'asib. He has a fixed share. We have taken out the brothers from the mother's side. He will never inherit by ta'asib. He will always, if he inherits, will get a fixed share. Farad. And number 3, the father. The father does not inherit by ta'asib only. He inherits by ta'asib sometimes, but he can also inherit by farad sometimes. So this is why he's not on this list, because this list is only for those who inherit by ta'asib only. They never inherit by farad. So those are the 3, right? From the 15 male inheritors, these are 3. If you take them out, we have 12. We have 12. Number 4, the grandfather from the father's side going up the line, he's also does not inherit by ta'asib alone. Yes, he can inherit by ta'asib, but he can also inherit by fard. Basically, the grandfather, the father of the father, and going up the line, is a replacement for the father. So when the father is not there, his father takes his place. Right? So the grandfather takes his place and operates in exactly the same way. So when we delete these 4 from the list of male inheritors, we have 11. But those who inherit by ta'asib are 12. So where did the extra one come from? Well, we have added the female liberator. Because remember, in the male inheritors, there are no females there. That's why they're called male inheritors, right? So, but in the list of those who inherit by ta'asib, 11 of them are males, and 1 is the female liberator. That is the lady who sets a slave free. And as we've mentioned before, since slavery has been abolished, there is no legitimate ways of acquiring a slave. This does not apply. It's not relevant to us today. But nevertheless, it was part of the equation since the time of the Prophet ﷺ, when slavery was entrenched in society. Okay, so and I'm mentioning this about these 2 lists, male inheritors versus those who inherit by ta'asib only, because if you compare, it's not 2 separate lists you have to learn and memorize. They're very similar. So if you learn what is different, then it becomes easy to remember. Okay. And then we have number 3, those who inherit by fard sometimes and by ta'asib sometimes, and they can combine the two. And there are only 2 inheritors who can do this. Only 2 persons. The first is the father. The father can inherit by fard sometimes. Sometimes he inherits by ta'asib, and sometimes he combines both. And here are some quick examples. Now, I know we haven't gone through the fixed shares yet, right? So some of this information might still not be quite comprehensible to you, so, but don't worry. Let's say somebody died and they left a father, a wife, and a son, right? So it means here that the husband has died and he has left behind his father, his wife, and his son. Here is what will happen. The father here, because of the presence of the son, will inherit 1/6. This is fard. This is a fixed share. The wife, the surviving spouse here, the wife will get 1/8 because of the son. We will deal with the details just now, inshallah. And the son will inherit the rest of the assets by ta'asib. He has no fixed share, but there is always a remainder for the son. But the point here is that in this example, the father inherits by fard alone. There is no ta'asib for him in this example. But in this example, number 2, if someone died, let's say the wife dies and she left a husband and her father. The husband will get a half because there is no children. She has no children. And her father will get the remainder by ta'asib. See here, there is no fard for the father. In the absence of children or grandchildren, the father will inherit by ta'asib alone. In the presence of children or grandchildren, if there are no children, then the father inherits by fard. Okay. The details will come, inshallah. So here, because of the absence of any children of the deceased, the husband will inherit a half. And the father, because there is no children, or there are no children or grandchildren, he will just inherit the remainder by ta'asib, which happens to be the other half, right? But we cannot say, oh, he is inheriting half, meaning it's a fixed share. No, it's not a fixed share. It's by ta'asib. It just happens to be a half. All right. Now, here is another scenario. A wife dies and she left behind a daughter, a husband, and her father. So here's what will happen now. The daughter will get a half. We will come to that, inshallah, the details of who inherits a half and what are the conditions. The daughter will inherit a half. The husband, because of the daughter, right, she's a child of the deceased, that is, the husband will inherit a quarter. Now, if the husband was the one who died, then, and the wife was the surviving spouse, she would inherit 1/8 because of the presence of children, a child or children. Okay? So that's why I put the wife in bracket, because here we're assuming it's the wife who died. But if we assume that it's the husband who died, then the wife will get 1/8. And the father, because of the presence of the daughter, he will inherit 1/6 by fard. And then the remainder by ta'asib. So here he has combined both the fard and the ta'asib. When there is a son or grandson, the father only inherits by fard, no ta'asib. When there is a daughter, the female, right, the daughter or the granddaughter, the daughter of the son, then the father will inherit by fard 1/6 and ta'asib the remainder, right? So he can combine the two. All right, and the second person who inherits by both fard and ta'asib and can combine them sometimes is the father of the father, right? As I mentioned, the grandfather. And basically, and you can go up the line, the great-grandfather, the great-great-grandfather, and so on, okay? Of course, the condition here is that the father has to be dead, because once the father of the deceased is alive, the grandfather cannot inherit anything. The father will block him and prevent him. So in the absence of the father has already passed away, then the grandfather, if he's still alive, will take his place, so to speak. All right? So for example, in this case, a wife dies and she left a daughter, a husband, her father, and her grandfather, the father of the father. Her daughter will get a half in the absence of any sons or another daughter. The husband will get a quarter, or If it were the husband who passed away, the wife is the surviving spouse, she will get 1/8 because of the presence of children, right? Or child or children of the deceased. The father will inherit the remainder by ta'asib. Right? Basically, he will get 1/6 plus the remainder. The father of the father will get 0. Why? Because the father is alive. Remember, the father of the deceased is closer to the deceased than the grandfather. And so the closest relative, male relative, will block those who are farther away from inheriting. So here, the father will inherit the remainder. Basically, because of the daughter, he will get 1/6, that's fard, plus the remainder. But the father of the father gets nothing because the father is present. Here is another scenario. A person died, a wife died, and she left a daughter, she left her husband, and her grandfather. Her father has died already. Okay, how does this work out? Well, the daughter gets a half. The husband will get a quarter. But if it were the husband who died, then the wife, and the wife was the surviving spouse, she would get 1/8, right? With the presence of a child or children for the deceased. The other spouse, if it's a husband, he gets a quarter. The wife, if it's a wife, she gets an 1/8. And here, the father of the father will inherit technically 1/6 by fard and the remainder by ta'asib. Okay, so here he's combining the two. But when the father is present, the grandfather, sorry, he doesn't inherit. All right. The third or the fourth combination, right? So we've completed those who inherit by fard only, those who inherit by ta'asib only, right? Those who inherit by fard only are 7. Those who inherit by ta'asib only are 12. Those who inherit by both sometimes and combine the two are only 2, right? Father and grandfather. And in any case, one has to, the father has to die, has to be absent for the grandfather to take his place. And number 4, in terms of the possible combinations, is those who inherit by fard sometimes and by ta'asib sometimes, but they never ever combine the two. They will not combine the two. As you've seen, there are cases where the father and the grandfather can combine the two. They get 1/6 by fard and the remainder as well. But this one is that they never combine the two. Okay, and there are 4 inheritors. The first is the daughter or the daughters, right? I put the S in brackets there because they could be plural. But there are certain conditions. The daughter or daughters will inherit fard or ta'asib, but they never combine the two. If there is no son with the daughter, then she inherits by fard only. So if a husband dies and he leaves a daughter, no son, she will get a half. That's fard only. But if there is a son or more, so the daughter has siblings, then she will inherit by ta'asib. Her brothers will cause her to inherit by ta'asib. She will not inherit by fard. Right? So the daughter or daughters, if there is no son or sons, will inherit by fard. If there is a son or more than one, right? A girl can have more than one brothers. She can be the only child, the only girl per se, not child, but only girl, but she can have 2 or 3 or 5 brothers or one brother. So if there is a son at least or more, then she will inherit by ta'asib. For example, if a husband died and he left his mother, he left his wife, and he left a daughter and a son, he has 2 children. And remember, brothers and sisters, all these individuals, all these relationships are in relation to the deceased. So when we say mother, we're talking about mother of the deceased. When we say wife, it's the wife of the deceased. When we say daughter, it's daughter of the deceased. When we say son, it's son of the deceased. Notice I didn't say brother, because if I say brother here, then brother would mean brother of the deceased. But here we're talking about the son of the deceased, the sibling of the daughter. So to avoid confusion, be careful with this. All right, so what happens here? His mother will get 1/6. Once you have children present, mother will always get 1/6. The wife in this case is a surviving spouse. She gets 1/8 because of the presence of children. Now look what happens. The daughter, if there were no son, she would have inherited a half by fard. But here, because of the presence of her brother, right, the son, she will inherit with the son, the remainder to the two of them, the remainder by ta'asib. So she will not inherit by fard here. There is no half for her, no fard. And when the sons and the daughters inherit by ta'asib, as you've learned, the male gets twice the share of a female. Okay? This happens with the sons and daughters. It happens with the grandson and the granddaughters. It happens with the brothers, blood brothers and blood sisters. It happens with the brother from the father's side and the sister from the father's side. Okay? Those four people. Here is another example. A husband dies and he leaves his mother, he leaves his wife, he leaves his daughter, no son, and his father behind. How will this work out? Well, here we go. His mother will get 1/6. This is the fard, right? Because he has children, daughter. His wife, because of the daughter, will get 1/8. The daughter will get a half. Notice here she inherits by fard. But if she had a brother or more, she would not inherit by fard, she would inherit by ta'asib only. But here, in the absence of any brother for her, any son, she will inherit a half. And the father of the deceased, that is, will inherit 1/6 by fard because the deceased has children. When the deceased has children, both parents gets a 6. But in this case, because of the absence of a son, the father will also inherit the remainder by ta'asib. So if we were to, let me give you an example, brothers and sisters. If we were to, let's do this. Let me get this. If we were to do the math here, all right. This issue would be out of the LCM, right? So you need to know a little bit of math here, right? Dealing with fractions, yes. So the LCM, right, lowest common factor would be what? 24, all right? So 6 into 24 is 6 fours. So the mother will get 4 shares. 8 into 24 is 3. The wife would get 3 shares. A half is 12, okay? A half is 12. Now 1/6 we said is 4. So we have 4 and 3, 7. 7 and 4 is 11. 11 and 12 is 23. There is still 1 remaining. There is still one as the remainder. Now the father gets that 1 by ta'asib. It's 1. That's how it will work out. So basically, if the husband dies and he leaves behind these 4 inheritors only, and we were to divide his assets into 24 equal shares, then his mother will get 4 shares. Right. So basically, let's talk in terms of dollars. If he has only $24, his mother gets $4, his wife gets $3, the daughter gets $12, and the father will get $4 by fard and the 1 by ta'asib. So he gets 5 in the end. Okay? All right. Let's continue. MashaAllah. I think I have to take this out. Bear with me 1 minute. Yeah. Nope, I don't want to do that. Clear all drawings. Let's go back to mouse. Okay. So if I back up a little bit, so this is the daughter. Inherits by fard sometimes, ta'asib sometimes, but never combine the two. The second person who inherits in that way, sometimes by fard, sometimes by ta'asib, but they never combine the two, is the daughter or daughters of the son. So we're talking about granddaughter here. And remember, in the absence of the daughter, the granddaughter takes her place, and so on, right? But here are the conditions. If there is no son of son or sons of son, then the granddaughter here will inherit by fard only. Just like the daughter, in the absence of a son, she will inherit by fard only. The granddaughter, right, the daughter of the son, if there is no grandson, she will inherit by fard only. Now, I want to mention something here. This this son of son, could be the brother of this girl, or it could be her cousin. Remember that. Remember that, right? We're talking about the daughter of the son, the granddaughter from the son's side. But the deceased could also have another son or more than one sons, right? More than one son who also have sons. So the son of son, the grandson, does not have to be the brother of the granddaughter. It could be her cousin. Yes, right? So her cousin, if her cousin is present, then she is not present, sorry. If either her brother or cousin is not present, then she will inherit by fard. But if her cousin or brother is present, if there is a son of son, whether it's her brother or her cousin, then she will inherit by ta'asib only, just like the daughter. When the son is present, the daughter inherits by ta'asib. When the son is not there, the daughter inherits by fard only. Okay? And of course, when she inherits by ta'asib, remember this is the golden rule. When a mixed group of gender, mixed group of males and females inherit by ta'asib, the male will always get twice the share of the female. Okay? And as I said, this only happens with the sons and daughters, the grandsons and granddaughters going down the line, the blood brothers and blood sisters, and the brothers and sisters from the father's side. All right, here's an example. A husband has died, and he's left his mother, his wife, daughter of son, and son of son. So he has left a granddaughter and a grandson from the son's side. But this son here and here doesn't have to be the same person. Right? So this granddaughter could be the granddaughter of one son, and this grandson could be the son of another son, right? Remember that. Now, how will this work out? The mother will get 1/6. Why? In the absence of children of the deceased, the grandchildren take their place. So the daughter of son here, the granddaughter, is like she's operating like the daughter here. So the mother with children will always get 1/6. The wife will get 1/8. Again, the daughter of the son here, the granddaughter, is operating like a daughter, right? So the wife gets 1/8. Now the daughter of the son plus the son of son, because her cousin is present or her own brother is present, she will not inherit by fard at all. She will together, the two of them will inherit the remainder by ta'asib. She does not get a fard here. And like I said, whenever a mixed group of males and females inherit by ta'asib, the male will get twice the share of the female. Now, here's another example. The husband dies and he has left a mother, a wife, a daughter, right? A daughter of son, a granddaughter, and his father. So here's how this will play out. The mother will get 1/6 because of the granddaughter, right? Remember, she is taking the place of the daughter right now. The wife will get 1/8. The daughter of the son will get a half. She doesn't have a brother or cousin to cause her to inherit by ta'asib now, right? She gets a half. This is the fixture. This is fard. And then the father will inherit 1/6 by fard, because once you have a child or grandchild, the parents will always inherit 1/6. But the father will also get the remainder by ta'asib. So if we work this out, it will be out of 24 again, where the mother will get 4 shares, the wife will get 3 shares, the daughter of the son, the granddaughter, will get 12 shares, right? Half of 24. And the father will get 4 shares by fard, and then the remainder is 1 share, so he will get that as well. So together, the father gets 5 shares of the assets of the deceased, right? Okay. The third person who inherits by fard and ta'asib and never combine the two are the blood is the blood sister or sisters. Blood sister or sisters. If, however, there is no blood brother, then or brothers, right? She can have more than one. She inherits by fard. She cannot have a brother or more. Because if she does, if there is a blood brother or more with her, she will inherit by ta'asib, not by fard. Okay? And again, right, the male will get twice the share of the female. So here are some quick examples. A person has died, they've left a wife, a husband, and let's assume it's the husband who died and he leaves his wife. That's why I put the wife in bracket. And he leaves a blood sister and a blood brother. And remember, blood means the brother and sister who are alive share the same mother and father as the deceased. So here's how this will work out. The husband will inherit a half because there is no child or children or grandchildren. So in the absence of any what we say branches, any furu', the husband gets a half. Now, if it were the wife who was the surviving spouse, she would get a quarter. The blood sister will not inherit by fard here. Why? Because she has her brother with her. He will cause her to inherit by ta'sib. No fard for her. Right? So here she inherits by ta'sib. Here is an example where she inherits by fard now. The wife dies, she leaves a husband and a blood sister, only two people. The husband will inherit a half, and the blood sister will inherit a half by fard. So you notice here the blood sister inherits by fard in the absence of her own brother. In the example A above, when her brother is present, she does not inherit by fard, she inherits by ta'sib. But she can never combine the two. So you will never find a situation where she gets a certain amount by fard and then the rest. No. Only the father and the grandfather combine the two, can combine the two. And number four, the fourth person who can sometimes inherit by fard, sometimes by ta'sib, and can never combine the two is the sister or sisters from the father's side. So we have daughter, granddaughter, and going down the line, blood sister, sister from the father's side. But there are some conditions, of course. Number one, there should be no brother or brothers from the father's side. If she has no sibling from the father's side, then she inherits by fard. But if she has a brother or more from the father's side, he will cause her to inherit by ta'sib, and as we've said, the male will get twice the share of the female. Right. Here are some examples. A wife has died, and she left behind a husband and a sister from her father's side. Only two people. The husband will inherit the half in the absence of children or grandchildren, and the sister from the father's side will inherit a half. Well, that's all of it anyways, right? Because here she does not have a brother to cause her to inherit by ta'sib. She's alone. So no brother from the father's side means she will inherit by fard. But look at this example. Someone dies. If it's the wife who died and left the husband, or the husband who died left the wife, plus a sister and a brother from the father's side. This will work out like this. The husband will inherit a half, or if it's the wife who is the surviving spouse, she will inherit a quarter in the absence of children or grandchildren. And the sister from the father's side here, notice, will not inherit by fard. In the example A above, she inherits by fard because she does not have a brother with her. In this example, she has her brother with her. A sister plus a brother from the father's side. Together, he will cause her to inherit by ta'sib. So they inherit the remainder by ta'sib. And as usual, the male will get twice the share of the female. Okay. So that takes care of that. Now we come to the real meat of the matter, as we say. Al-furud al-muqaddara, the fixed shares. What are the fixed shares? Now, there are 6 fixed shares mentioned in the Quran and in the Sunnah. 6 of them. And they are a half, a quarter, 1/8. Right? So half, quarter, 1/8. Right? You go down. And then you have 2/3, a third, and 1/6. Or 1/6, a third, 2/3. Right? You can go at it back. These are the 6 fixed shares mentioned in the Quran and in the Sunnah. So anybody inheriting by fard has to inherit one of these. There is no 1/5. There is no 4/5 or anything like that. It's either a half, a quarter, or an eighth, or 2/3, or a third, or 1/6. Now, those who inherit a half, this is a fixed share, are only 5 inheritors. They inherit a half. The first is the husband. The husband will inherit a half if, so here are the conditions now. And these conditions are important because this is what helps you, brothers and sisters, to figure out, well, does this person gets a quarter or a half? A quarter or 1/8, right? So the conditions are important. The husband will inherit a half if, number one, there are no sons or daughters, or son or daughter, right? Can be singular as well. Whether it's one or more, it doesn't matter. Once there is a son or there is a daughter, the husband will not inherit a half. So there has to be no son or no daughter. And number two, no children, no child or children of the son. Remember, the children of the daughter will not inherit. So we're talking about the son now, children of the son, the grandchildren from the son side. In Arabic terminology, right, children of the deceased, sons and daughters, and grandchildren who inherit are called far'un warith. Far'un means branch. You remember when we talked about reasons for inheritance, we talked about branch, nasab, right? One reason through which you can inherit is your relationship with the deceased, blood relationship. And that blood relationship has three categories. You're either from the branches, meaning children and grandchildren going down the line, or you're from the usul, the origin. This is the father and mother and the grandparents going up the line. And then you have the fringes, right? The hawashi, the fringes. These are the brothers and the uncles and so on, and sisters. So far'un warith means a branch that inherits. Because if you have the daughter of the son present, the daughter of the daughter or the son of the daughter present, that person will not inherit. So his or her presence will not do anything to anybody else. So children and grandchildren who inherit together are called far'un warith, the branch that inherits. So the husband will inherit a half only in the absence of any child or children, whether they're boys or girls, it doesn't matter. And also in the absence of any grandchild or grandchildren from the son side. Okay, only then he inherits a half. If there is a child, son or daughter, or a grandchild, son or daughter, how much does he inherit? We will come to that, inshallah. All right, we will come to that. So he inherits a half with these two conditions. Here's what Allah says in the Quran about this in chapter 4, verse 12. You will inherit a half of what your wives leave if they are childless. So when we talk about sons and daughters and so on, we're talking about in relation to the deceased. Person dies, they leave no children. Even if the surviving spouse has children, that doesn't matter. It's the deceased that matters, the children of the deceased. So you will inherit, the husbands will inherit a half of what your wives leave behind. If the wives are childless, they have no children. And if you have no children, well, you could have grandchildren, but basically that's what it is, right? Children or grandchildren and going down the line. Here are some examples. The wife dies, she has left behind a husband and a father. Now, how will this play out? Now, when we look at this mas'ala, brothers and sisters, we see that there are only two inheritors, husband and father. Now, the husband inherits a half when there is no child or children and no grandchildren. Here, there is nothing of the sort. So the husband inherits a half in the absence of child or children and in the absence of grandchild or grandchildren and going down the line. The father will inherit the rest by ta'asib. The father in this particular case will not inherit by fard. He only inherits by fard if there is a branch, child or grandchild. There is no child or grandchild here, so he does not inherit by fard. So he automatically inherits by ta'asib the remainder, which happens to be half. Here's another example. The wife dies and she leaves behind her husband and a blood sister. Blood sister of the deceased, not the husband. Remember that. The husband will get a half by fard, and the blood sister will inherit a half by fard. All right, we didn't get to the blood sister yet, but we're coming to that, right? There are 5 people who inherit a half by fard. One of them is the blood sister, as you can see here, but we will deal with her conditions just now or later on. Okay. Number 2, the second person who inherits a half is the daughter of the deceased. But there are some conditions. because sometimes she can inherit by ta'asib because of her brother if he's present, or she can inherit 2/3. Well, share 2/3 with her sister, right? So there are conditions. So the daughter inherits a half if there is no son or sons, or else she would inherit by ta'asib. So she's got to have no brother with her, no son or sons, one or more. And number two, she should not have another daughter or more to share with her. Because when you have 2 or more daughters, they don't each inherit a half. No. Once you have 2 and more, they share 2/3. So the daughter will only inherit a half if she has no sister, period. Because the presence of a sister or more will mean they have to all share now 2/3. Here's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about this. Allah commands you regarding your children. And if they are 2 or more, it's a long verse, so I just skipped to the part that that's relevant to us. And if they are 2 or more females, right? So we're talking about children here. Remember that, right? Allah commands you regarding your children. If there are 2 or more females, their share is 2/3 of the estate. But if there is only one female, that is daughter, right? Because we're talking about children, right? Remember, we're talking about children. Children. So if there is only one female, her share will be 1/2. 1/2. So these are the 2 conditions to ensure that the daughter will inherit a half. She should have no brother, there should be no son or sons, and she should have no sister in order to share with her. All right, let's look at some examples. A person has died, it could be male or female. They have left behind a daughter, a mother, and a father. Now, this is how this will work out. The daughter will inherit a half because there is no son or sons to make her inherit by ta'asib. And she does not have a sister in order to share the 2/3 with her. Okay, so she will inherit a half. The mother will inherit 1/6 because of the presence of a child of the deceased. And the father will also inherit 1/6 due to the presence of a child of the deceased, plus the remainder by ta'asib. So this is also an example where the father is inheriting by both fard and ta'asib at the same time. He's combining them. All right, he's combining them. Here is another example to clarify even more. A person has died and has left 2 daughters, a mother and a father. Now, how much do you think the 2 daughters will inherit? A half each? No. The 2 daughters will share 2/3. So now you notice what's happening. Each girl will only get 1/3. Now, don't go killing your sisters, right? So you can get a half, guys. Okay, sisters, don't go killing your sisters now just to get a half. No, but that's the point, right? If there are 2 or more daughters of the deceased, then they all will share 2/3. But when the daughter is a lone daughter, she inherits a half. So the 2 daughters will share to 2/3. It doesn't matter how many more than 2 you have, they will all share 2/3. If you have 5 daughters, they will share 2/3. You have 10 daughters, they will share 2/3. You have 2 daughters, they will share 2/3. But you have 1 daughter, she gets a half. The mother will inherit 1/6. Again, once there is the presence of a child, the deceased has left a child or more alive, the mother will automatically inherit 1/6. The father will also inherit 1/6 by fard, and then the remainder by ta'asib. So again, he's combining the 2 in this example. Okay, another example, just to clarify, I know it's close to 9. Person has died, husband has died, he left his mother, his wife, a son, and a daughter. Now the son and daughter here are the son and daughter of the deceased. The wife does not necessarily have to be the mother of these children. The important thing is the relationship is in relation to the deceased. So when we say son, it doesn't have to be the son of the wife here. It could have been that, the brother was married before, or he was married and divorced, whatever, and he had a son and a daughter from the previous marriage. But right now, he has left his mother, his wife, his own son, his own daughter. This will play out in this way. The mother will get 1/6 because of the presence of children, right? Son and daughter. The wife, the surviving spouse, will get 1/8 again because of the presence of children. When we get to 1/8 and the details, you will see that. But here, the daughter will not inherit a half by fard. Remember, when she's alone, she inherits by fard. Why? Because now she has her brother with her. And so the son will cause the daughter to inherit by ta'asib. Together, they inherit the remainder by ta'asib, where the male gets twice the share of the female. All right. Now, we will stop here. Those are 2 people out of 5 who inherit a half by fard. Inshallah, when we meet again, we will continue. As I mentioned at the beginning, this part here now is the meat of the matter. And so this is what you need to really pay attention to and to learn. Learn who inherits what and what are the conditions. That's important. So go over the examples. If you have any questions, raise them next week, inshallah. I will stop here. And I know it's already 9 p.m. I'm sorry we started a bit late. I had a little bit of problem with my slides, but alhamdulillah, we were still able to do this. Are there any questions? Any questions? Use the chat and type it up, please. Or maybe unmute yourself and ask.
Yes, if anyone has a question that they actually want to ask by voice, you can just raise your hand and we can allow you to speak, inshallah, or you can type it.
There you go. There you go. All right, I see. All right. Our brother Zainul is asking if the new document is uploaded. It's not. I'm sorry. I remembered earlier today, subhanallah, to send it, and then I forgot. But inshallah, I will do that as soon as the class ends. Inshallah, I will send it to Brother Ma'moon, and he, inshallah, will upload it for all of you either tonight or tomorrow. So you'll have it very, very soon, inshallah. Please forgive me for that. All right? Jazakumullahu khairan. Any other questions? Now, once we go through the fixed shares, brothers and sisters, each one of you should be able to sit down and now put on paper your inheritors, and you should be able to figure out, inshallah, who is going to inherit and who won't, and you know, those who inherit by fixed shares, how much they will inherit, right? You should be able to do that. All right, assalamu alaikum. What if there are 2 wives? Okay, so the wives will share whatever one wife will inherit. So if one wife will inherit a quarter, and there are 2 wives or 3 wives or 4 wives maximum, of course, they will share the quarter. Or if there is a child or children, then the wife gets 1/8. If there is more than 1 wife, then they will share the 1/8. Okay, when we talk about those who inherit a quarter, we will talk about that as well, right? On an 8, the wife and wives. So yes, just like the daughters who have to share, wives will share either a quarter or 1/8. And Allah knows best. Okay, another question. Is it possible to share with us a will template? Jazakallah. All right. Brother Zainul asked for my email. I have no problem, so I'm going to type it here for you. I hope you can see it. Basically, it's my name, Abdul Hamid at yahoo.com. ABDOOL HAMID, one word, at yahoo.com. That's my email. If you have any questions you'd like to email me about, that's fine. You can email me directly, mashallah. And in terms of the will template, inshallah, I will do that. All right. But again, remember, in terms of the will, It depends on, who's still alive of your relatives. So I can't really give you a template for that. But there are other things in terms of appointing an executor, in terms of appointing a guardian for your minor children if they're below 18. Things like that are fairly standard. All right. So that, inshallah, I will work with, inshallah, and I will get you some kind of template if there is a template. Right. I'll let you know, inshallah. So that's my email. You can contact me with any questions you have. I will also, inshallah, soon after the class ends, send the updated handout so that Brother Ma'moon can post it at his earliest convenience. So you will have access to that as well. Okay? Jazakumullahu khair. Any other questions? Anyone? Okay, then, brothers and sisters, all of you take care. It was really nice being able to share this knowledge and information with all of you. May Allah the Exalted teach us all what is beneficial to us. May He cause us to benefit from what we learn, and may He increase our knowledge so that we can better serve Him and worship Him. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. See you all next week, same time, same place. Of course, time will change. Remember that this Sunday time is going to spring forward, but we're still on for 8 to 9. Okay, regardless, 8 to 9 we will still do our class, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.